Check it out. We got that wood stove going. Takes a little chill out of here. I got one of these things off Amazon. Used a coupon thing and I got it for like 10 bucks. That's slick. So no electric needed. I could feel the fan. The hotter it is, the faster it goes. And this is working pretty good. Having some heat in here. But we don't have a good lighting. We're going to work on that. There's still so many projects in here. I bet there's 15 projects in here I got to get out of the way. I get busy and go on. I got things to do, so I got to keep moving. I'm going to take the bowl off. That's 1/2 inch. Most of them are. That's not very tight. Hopefully the gasket's good. Well, fuel's not leaking out, so I know it's empty. Ah, look at that. What a poor design. The bowl may not be able to come off with a tire on there. Is that a poor design or what? There's some junk inside here. Have to get on the air compressor. I can't see in that hole. I think we're going to be cleaning this carb out. Look at that. I can't get the... Yeah, but just barely. Uh-oh, the gasket's ripped. That's why she's leaking. There's a little fuel in it. Doesn't smell too good. Not too much junk in the bottom, a little bit. But this gasket's a big one. I don't know if I have another one like that. I might. Doubt it. I don't know. The bowl, that's a little dirty. Little sticky, little dirty. I don't know if I want to take it off to clean it or... It's not that bad. But we got the fuel leaking because of that bowl gasket. And it's a rubber. It's about more than an 1/8 inch thick. And it's got a couple other cracks in it. So it's totally shot. This Tecumseh 5.5 horse. Probably could get a whole carburetor for 20 bucks. But do I want to do that? If a gasket's going to be 10, I'd buy a carburetor. Because that would give me a new prime and knot button. New gasket mount, and then a new bowl gasket. So I was hoping not to buy anything. It's nice not having to buy parts and just use what you have. All these linkages look good. Everything looks good on here. Most of these units, you know, people buy them, use them once or twice and find out that they're a hassle and, you know, you really can't cut big stuff. You're just cutting little tiny twigs. Might better throw them in a pile and burn them, you know. This does grind up leaves. You can take them and just shovel them in there with a rake. Just rake them right in. It grinds them up a lot smaller. But, you know, even that's a hassle. You shouldn't burn leaves probably. They smoke too much. But let me look around and see if I can find a bowl gasket. If not, I'm going to look up the serial number. There's the serial number on the unit. And over here... on the engine, OHH 5569024E, if that means anything. I gotta figure out what year it is. I don't know. I have to check with Terrell, right? Terrell Fixes All. See what year this is. I'm sure it's right in the serial number. Probably around a 2000, but we'll see. Well, upon closer inspection, you saw this gasket is ripped. So I went on to check how much a gasket is, and it's a 2-pack. See all the cracks in it? A 2-pack is $9.97 plus tax. That's kind of foolish. So I got looking a little closer. See what I see back there? Look at that fuel line. It looks like the gas was probably leaking out of that. You see the clean spot underneath the hose? it would be dirty if it didn't get washed. So I think the fuel line was the problem. And of course, once you take a bowl off and the gasket's dried out, it would break. So we need a fuel line. We need a gasket. So that's going to send it up 10, 15 bucks probably. So the carb's still got to come off. So I ordered a carburetor on Amazon. It's a Tecumseh for the H55, whatever engine this is. It is the right one. And this priming bulb I'm a little concerned about. I don't have that style. So a new carb will have a new priming bulb, because the problem with this, you saw, as we squirted fuel in, it'd start, but it wasn't picking up fuel. And so if these go bad, you can't prime them, and there's no choke. It's just on off. So we need a priming bulb. So for $18.97, a whole new carburetor's coming. You get a new air filter, which you saw was pretty plugged up. You got the gasket to mount here. Of course, the new bowl gasket. I wouldn't have to take it apart. New fuel line shut off. A new spark plug. So we could go ahead and take this plug out and replace it. So we could get a whole new tune-up for 20 bucks. I guess I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's definitely worth it. I could probably flush out that fuel tank. It's going to take 2 days to get here, so I'll come back to this project. But what we did so far is amazing, I think. Everything we brought on here, it's going to be running like new. So it's worth putting $20 in it. That'll bring me up to a cost of somewhere about 50 bucks. If it runs really good, I may keep it. But I'm considering letting it go because it's so small. If my mom's interested in using it to rake leaves in and things, whatever, then I'll keep it. But if she doesn't want to deal with it, then it's going to go on Marketplace. But by then, I'll tell them it's got a new carburetor, it's got new repairs, everything's good, sharpened blades, tune-up, new air filters. So they won't need to do anything to it. So I'll see you in a couple days when we get some parts. Well, it's 40 degrees out on this fall day. So I fired up the stove. As she's starting to roar, it gets going good if I leave the door cracked open 1 inch. I'll get this thing cranking and get the frost out of here, right? We've got our carburetor package in here, so I want to open that up and we'll get a start on this. All right, trying to get organized here, get a little better lighting, get some tools out. Let's see what we got here. Did the old Amazon. You can get a kit price better than you can get a couple little parts. So here's an air filter. That looks similar. Comes with a spark plug. Sure, it's Chinese. Comes with a priming bulb. Huh. 1, 2 clamps, a big lock washer for something, I don't know what that's for, and a fuel shut off. That's kind of cool. We got some fuel line hose. Looks to be 1/4 inch, double wall. That's about 2 feet long. That's nice. It looks about the right size. And then we got our carburetor. Oh, we got a gasket. Carburetor base gasket. Looks about right. Got our parts back in here. And then if we don't use all the parts, that's fine, because I do enough of this kind of stuff that I'll use it somewhere. I don't know why they give you a priming bulb, because this has a new one. Let's see if it looks the same. The throttle linkage is a little different? No, it's not. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That looks the same. We've got a breather and a fuel inlet. And well, everything looks the same. The bowl, here's our old bowl. That looks exactly the same. This says Tecumseh, the original. This does not. It's just a clone, whatever. So, for the price of this gasket, for the bowl, and a fuel line, I think it was $2 more, I could get this whole kit. I get a new air filter, because that air filter was plugged. If somebody sees that it's got a fresh carb, runs good, no leaks, air filter looks clean, oil's clean, everything looks serviced on it, then it's going to sell in a hurry. You know, this is the time of year to cut up your brush, rake in your leaves, whatever. So what we're going to do is, our parts look good. We'll go ahead and take this off. And what we got, that's a 1/4 inch. Yeah. We'll set our parts here. I got a magnet parts box I should grab, but for our bolts. Put our bolt aside, and then probably should take this cover. Got to take the cover off anyway. That's on with Phillips. Two of those. And then the gasket there looks okay. Now, this is a fuel line, I thought, but this is a fuel line down here with a clamp on it. This is the breather that's broken. So we got to replace this hose. It's not going to be long enough. So we can use that same hose. And then it's wet around it. So vapors, they want to reburn the vapors. And then crankcase ventilation. We'll take these loose. And I think we can pivot this carburetor right up out of here and do the linkage, you know. Let's see. 7/16. Reach the inside one. That's a tough one. Sometimes disconnecting it from the engine's easier and bringing it out as a unit. Which one is easier? These are a straight shot. This one's a hidden one. But the more things you take apart, like once I disassemble that, if that rips, they only give you one gasket. And if I take this off and that rips and this rips, then we're out of a gasket. We'll have to make one. The governor. That looks pretty simple. I'm going to see if I can get in here to get that loose. That's in a tough spot. The clamp is on the back side, so it looks like they put it on up here. In that case, what is in the way? Parts of the muffler. See, you're going to get into a bigger project. If we don't have to mess with it, it's better. So I guess I'll monkey with this. There's a bolt and a nut. 2 different size heads on it. I'll work on that. You're going to get bored. Get this carburetor off in there. Well, that was a project. It's easier to take the muffler off And this style of muffler is kind of easy. I didn't know it was. It's got like a big shouldered bolt that goes through it. I don't see a gasket. It just sits inside of there. That's kind of cool. Once that's out of the way, I can get the bolt out. And then we got this gasket. Looks to be in good shape, except the bottom portion looks like it might have been leaking a little bit. It's not torn. The governor, there's a seal behind there. Looks like it's leaking a little bit. The fuel line is right here, and that's actually in good shape. It's a breather that's shot. It's broken about an inch. I don't know if it's long enough to reach. If it is, that'd be cool. I'll just cut that off and not replace it. I think when we're done here, I'd just pressure wash this, get it cleaned up nice. And the, what else? The carburetor back bolts goes on like this. You can't get to them. What a design. The bolt shoulder is touching the cast, so there's no way in heck you can put on a box end wrench to reach up in there. And you don't have pivot enough room to swing a wrench. You could use a Phillips, but my stubby is too long. You need a short. So how foolish. But I think what we'll do is just take this out and just get rid of it. The carb has some corrosion in it. Not totally terrible. The float's sticking. See that? So it's probably a good call to get a carburetor, I guess. We could probably rebuild it, whatever, but, you know, money's money, and $18 for everything we got is cheap. So now we just compare old to new. Take these bolts out, which are a whole lot easier now, and transfer. And then here's our little linkage. I'll put that on there. Probably the wrong direction. One side's bigger. That's better. And then we'll just reassemble everything. So that's kind of cool. This looks pretty easy. I need a little workbench in here instead of dealing with this. Maybe I can get a cart over here. Alright, I keep getting interrupted, but if you follow along with the channel, I repaired those two trailers. Well, a guy showed up and bought one. He said it's great, perfect for what he wants. To me, they're so small, why bother? But he's actually gonna tow it behind his Jeep. He said he's got some ideas he wants to do with it, and whatever. He's got to register it. He's got to put lights on it. I probably wouldn't, but he said trailer that size is almost $1,000 now. And I said, well, got a good deal then. So we got to fix this breather. So if we just hold this carburetor up here, the breather hooks up here. And you see that's way too sloppy. But it looks like this hose can come out quite a ways. I think we'll just get some snips. We probably don't have anything over here. Razor blade, cut that off. Make sure that'll work. We'll take this part apart. That's a poor design. If they're going to have a bolt that close to it, they should use like a square side where it doesn't turn and you can just work on the one side. But it is what it is, and we deal with it. So 7/16 and 3/8. Let's see if it turns. Needle mini vise, it does turn. Where'd my 3/8 go here? We'll hold that still and take this apart. So, yeah, I got interrupted, so I went and got some firewood in our building. Brought it back so I can stoke a good fire today. And this thing's heating great. And that little fan turned on, it's glowing red. the back side of me's toasty. It's kind of chilly out. We're supposed to get a hard frost tonight. Supposed to be down to 30. So we're ready. We're due. They're calling for a storm coming up from New Mexico area, and it's going to take a few days to get here, so we're probably going to get some snow before Halloween. So let's get prepared. I want to get this chipper out for sale. I know my mom could use it over there, whatever. If she wants it, she can use it. I doubt she can even start it. A lot of these, they pull, so hard. You got to tug on them. But you normally, once you squirt this, it's one pull on all these because they got such a big flywheel. So there's that, our 2 bolts. And I don't want to tear that, but let's see if it just comes off like that. You don't even have to clean it up. That looks in good shape. So that mounts like so. So what we ought to do, I should have done, set this up there the right way to confirm that I can just cut that hose. See, this will come out quite a ways. I think we can cut that. So let's compare the new carb to the old carb. It's exactly the same. This little inlet breather hole's tiny. They didn't drill that great. This is larger, but who cares? Fuel line. Sometimes these have a built-in screen. Debris gets clogged in them. This ran, sorta, as you heard. So I have a feeling this is going to run great. And because this drained out, I'm sure the tank looked pretty clean in there. And let's go ahead and get the gaskets out, get this carb assembled. We'll mount the linkage on and the carb back on. Then we'll put the muffler on. We'll put the breather on and the fuel line. The clamp I was going to show you disintegrated when I touched it. This come with a new hose and clamps. And we will put a new clamp on that. I'll probably put on time lapse because it gets boring. Well, I'm not sure I like this linkage. It doesn't go all the way. It could be that the angle on the carb is slightly different. The spring is designed to close it to idle. You bring your throttle up to high and off. It doesn't move very far. So I think what I want to do, because I think the shutoff on this does work okay, I think I'm going to put a little gas in it and test it prior to putting all the rest of this on there. And if I don't spill this and I don't get crazy, this should be fine. I just want to test it, Take this can back out. Sometimes the linkages are slightly different, I don't think it goes full travel though. It does come back to idle, but compared to this carb, let's see the angle. And the throttle angle looks the same. We might be all right, but I don't trust it. It's not coming back on its own. I don't want it to idle high. It's going to be loud if it does start. And let's test this out, see if it does start. We'll put this on, don't matter what, run, I guess. And then see if I got enough fuel in there to pump. Well, I got plenty of fuel to pump. So I didn't even hear it, it's so quiet. Now that we got exhaust blowing out right here. Might have to put the muffler on to test it. I just didn't want to do this twice. Let's see what happens. I guess she wants to fire. I'll put it on fast. Oh! Remember this, guys? We took the spark plug wire off. I guess I was just seeing moisture coming out, so we'll lower this back down some. Sounds fine. It sounds fine. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put our bracketry, our muffler bracket. It's a nice muffler on this thing. Got a bracket on this side. Let's see here. We got a spacer. Goes in on the inside. We get all this back together, right? But just like selling those little utility trailers, I want them to work, I want them to function, and people feel like they're getting something for a couple dollars. I'm not asking very much for them, but get rid of them. Let's see, when am I on the wrong side of the bracket? I think I am. Don't you forget things 2 minutes later, right? Okay. Looks like I'm going to put this together after. So these are like a shouldered bolt. See the exhaust on them? And there's no gasket. Line both of these up. This has a Tecumseh logo on it, the Indian. Looks like an Indian. They probably have to change their logo, right? And then I put this back bracket on. This had that spacer in there, but why? Not really necessary, is it? You should have just used a shorter bolt. I'll go ahead and tighten them up. What are they, 7/16? I get on it. And then, see right now it lines up without the spacer, don't even need the spacer. So let's see why. Yeah, it's a huge long bolt. So they did that, or somebody else did that because the bolt was too long probably. And this I gotta put in with a wrench. How it looks. And that's a little guy. 3/8. I use these little buckets to keep organized, and sometimes it's still not organized. So, to review on this, we tore it apart, we sharpened the blades. We found all that stick debris wrapped around the main shaft, which is, of course, the engine crankshaft. And that bogged down the pulling. Still got pretty good compression, but that allowed it to spin over a little bit faster. We sharpened the 4 blades, 2 blades, and then the shredders, the shroud was in upside down. So that's why it probably wouldn't have cut very good, because I think the guy said that it didn't have any power, didn't cut good or something, and I kind of knew right away. People start messing with things, they put them back together wrong. We have an idle screw that's adjustable. This is in and on. We got another heat shield that goes over this that fell. I reach at. Kind of crowded in here because of our recent wood stove install. And I've got to get shelves on the wall, my pegboard back up, and I want to do that insulation. Shroud's hot, so this goes over here. Alright, that's where that spacer went. How come you didn't tell me that? Spacer's for the shroud. That makes more sense now. My brother wanted me to help him work on his exhaust. He's got a crossover pipe that's that flex pipe. The dealer wanted a huge amount of money, and you can get them on Amazon for $100. So we're gonna, I think, try to do that. I got to get some of this junk out of the way and things organized so I can get another vehicle back in here. And then that's one of our mechanical jobs. A car has the right rear brake is dragging. I want to bring that in. 2 nuts. Where did I put them? In here. And I want to take the brakes apart and clean them. See what's going on. See what kind of parts we got left here. No, I don't see them. You guys see them? We have 2 nuts. We've got this washer, spacer, bolt. We've got our 3 little bolts that holds this on. This needs a gasket. That's in good shape. And I set those nuts down where I can't see them. There they are. They're on the magnetic screwdriver. That's why. There we go. And then this thing is ready to go out and test. What I want to do, get the engine warm, and I want to drain the oil. Right now it's a good spot to do it. And I want to change the oil in it. The gas tank is drained, and that looked pretty clean. And the carburetor didn't look bad. I think this thing only had 1 tank of fuel run through it. And then probably don't tighten that up yet. And then the spacer goes between this shroud and that. That makes more sense now. Why the bolt was so long. And what else? We fixed the plastic on that. We put bumpers on the bottom for vibration, so when it sits still it don't vibrate across the floor or ground. Now, just gotta line the holes up. So, I think I'll bring you back when we get the rest of this together. I want to tighten these up, put our cover on, get our new air filter, see if it fits, get some oil and change this. Okay, we changed the oil. We got about not quite a quart, maybe. I marked it. I checked the stick you saw earlier. It was a whisker over full. We drained the oil into that pan. We drained the pan into this. We marked the clean jug with a marker. We poured it back out, cleaned out the jug, filled it up with 30 weight oil to that mark, put it in, and we're right on the full mark. I don't know how many it takes. They should put a spec on the side saying it takes, 46 ounces, whatever, but it doesn't. So that's the best way to do it on a small engine. You heard it run. We got everything back together, got the air filter in it. It does run. I'm not even going to change the idle on it, I don't think. Everything's set to go. The only thing it could use is a good cleaning. I'm not going to worry about that. I'll get Dawson to help me. We'll get this outside and we'll test it on some sticks and brush. We put some fuel in it. We'll fire that up and we'll test the leaves and the sticks, and Dawson's got his gloves on. Looks pretty good, actually. That might be too big. Well, supposed to be like 1.5 stuff. Making some nice chips there. It idles down pretty nice. Seems pretty strong. I think for $18 that was a good investment buying the carburetor. I think the problem was the vent hose was broke. Go ahead and shut her down, would you? They got such a big crankshaft, they take a lot to start, but when they start, they take a while to stop. Show them how nice it starts now. It's almost tempting to keep it, but it's pretty simple. Just pull this lever. And this is that ball that we fixed right here. It had that crack in it. And I put those wire welds. And then I made these metal braces to hold that plastic on. I think that's a design problem. But when you hook on this and you're dragging it around, you're putting a lot of pressure on that plastic down there. So those aluminum, I made 4 of them. So that's evenly held. This side here, I just moved the thumb knob from the front to the back, which is most people are right-handed. This was awkward down in here. So putting this here, we could let it just fly right out by taking this up. And this swivels right up out of the way. You can blow it into a bag or out in the woods. I changed the oil on it. I didn't put in a new spark plug. It's like brand new. I gotta just clean it up now. So with a carburetor, that's it, guys. I think that's a good investment. These are selling for $700 or something. Harbor Freight has a cheaper model for $500. And I think if, you know, we let it go a couple $100, somebody's got a good investment. Sharpened blades, new carburetor. It's clean. It looks like new, works like new. And even these leaves are wet and heavy. Just shove them right in there. Grinds them up. They come out with nothing on the other end. And we have the large chipper that goes on the tractor, 8-inch. And that'll do all this big stuff. But this isn't designed for that. And I don't know. I think good way to get rid of your debris is all this junk in the fall. You trim your branches, prune them, whatever, and run them through there and throw them around your plants. Thanks for watching. Just wanted to show you what a little tinkering can do. We did put the rubber feet on the bottom, on the legs there. They were missing, and that'll keep it from vibrating if you're sitting on the blacktop or something. And I don't know. Follow along, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. So I want to pick up some subscribers. Tell me what you're interested in, but little repairs as we go. Dawson likes to play on this thing. I think he needs some wood chips around his shrubs over here. Maybe we'll do a little bit more today and clean all this mess up. We'll go down to, like, I don't know, maybe 2-inch stuff and stop. But thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.